Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my latest YouTube update. This is going to be a message for the grievers of the world from the Kontomblé. So if you're new to my work and new here, I'm Aislinn Kerckhaert. My practice is called Sings with Trees, and I'm an initiated Kontomblé voice diviner. I've been walking with the Kontomblé for many years now, and they are the little people of the Dagra tribe in Burkina Faso, West Africa. Their teachings were brought to the West by Elder Malidoma Somé over the last 30 years. So it's been a while since I did a YouTube update. I do regular seasonal ones, and this was such an active summer, I didn't get a YouTube update out, but I did get a message from the Kontomblé out in my newsletter. So my newsletter is also a wonderful way to keep up to date on courses, classes, offerings, things like this. Anyway, today I'm going to be sharing with you an excerpt from the Kontomblé, from a divination that I did with them. And this divination took place in early October. It actually happened the day before Hurricane Helene hit the North Carolina area and all the surrounding areas. There was a lot of energy in the field from the Kontomblé in those 2 days. And while this divination doesn't specifically touch on the hurricane itself, I feel that there are a lot of pertinent messages in it around just the nature of climate change and eco-grief and what it means to be a griever of the world, and how and why grieving on behalf of what is happening to the natural world, along with how that affects us as humans who are not just living with it, but are actually a part of it. We are human nature. We're a part of nature. When we allow ourselves to really feel the grief that comes up in the face of the various, I want to say, tragedies and travesties happening before our eyes every day, rather than growing increasingly numb to it, something really beautiful happens. And what that is that it helps our heart to crack open. It helps us to reclaim parts and pieces of ourselves and of our soul that have perhaps been fragmented away or lost or grown dim with the collection of dust from the years of numbness and forgetting. We're able to find those dusty parts of the mirrors of our hearts, or those kind of parts that have grown kind of dirty and covered in grime, and just wipe them clean. And this is what happens when we allow ourselves to really let our grief flow through. So in the Dagra lineage, they have a special funeral rite that takes place when someone passes, and it happens over the course of, I believe, at minimum 4 days. And there's this understanding that the tears that are cried on behalf of a loved one help to create this river that then they can travel home to the realm of the ancestors upon. And so to cry is not only acceptable, to cry is necessary. To cry, to shed tears, is very welcome and very expected. And to not do it would be like almost an abomination. Like, to not grieve would be to refuse your loved one the right to become an ancestor, which is what happens when they journey upon that river of tears to the other world. They're able to return home and become an ancestor once again. So in this message from the Kontomblé, we'll be hearing a bit from them with their take on all of this. If you're new to the Kontomblé, Their messages often come through in rhymes and riddles, sometimes in threes, and they have a particular kind of medicine that can be a bit of a, like sometimes there's ways that they want to poke us or even activate us in a way that gets us to look at something that perhaps we've buried because it's uncomfortable to look at. So they have this very artful and playful way of bringing up the uncomfortable things. Also a poetic way of bringing up the uncomfortable things so that we can start to really look at them and allow ourselves to face them and feel them and process them. And in the doing of all of those things, open up to different possibilities and potentials in our life, and how they can guide us to open up to different possibilities and potentials in our life is by attuning us to the various places in our lives where relationships with the natural world and relationships with the other world are increasingly wanting to be built, or are increasingly wanting to be tended and increasingly wanting to be maintained. It's through the maintenance and the tending of our relationships to the unseen, which happens through listening, which happens through being with, which happens through the making of offerings to, and which happens to the regarding of the entity or the consciousness inside of this being, whether it be a tree or a river or the clouds or a nature spirit, a little person, what have you. What happens in the process of regarding them, whether that be through prayer or listening, is that really we're in conversation with them. And it's through being open to being in conversation with them that we acknowledge that a conversation is possible, which many people in the modern world are still awakening to. And two, through, or B, two and B, we'll go with, through that, we realize that within these conversations, there's mountains upon mountains full of caverns filled with treasure chests of wisdom that's been forgotten, that the little people or the natural world, the emissary, the beings of the natural world that are expressing out to us through these various voices, that they want us to remember. They want us to reclaim, and they're here to help us in the process of doing this. It's really a beautiful thing. And for those who are have a natural inclination and even a soul calling to be in a continued form of conversation with the beings of the natural world, what happens is that there is a great likelihood that if you're a person like this, that you have a potential within you to become, if you're not already, an emissary on behalf of the natural world, which is another way of saying to become one who speaks on behalf of them, who uses their voice in an artful manner to wake up those walking through the world who are forgetting the importance of these relationships. Yes, to be like a one who sounds the trumpet or makes that clarion call to those who are ready to hear, to those who are ready to find themselves in community once again, maybe for the first time in this lifetime or the first time in a long time, with other people who share these feelings in their heart and share these callings in the depths of their soul and the rumblings of their own ancestral bellies. So that's what I have to share with you all today. Thank you so much to listening to this little message from me to begin with. And I'm going to transition to the divination from the Kontomblé. Before I do that, I want to just share a few updates with those of you who are familiar with my work, or if you're just coming in, around some upcoming offerings that will be released in the next month. The first is that I have my monthly community call, The Fountain. And this is a really lovely space for voices of the natural world to come together and be in community with one another. Each monthly call features a channeling from me, where I channel my guides, the Kontomblé, the primordial dragon relatives, and other voices of the natural world, including the whales. We've heard from the mushrooms. We've heard from all different kinds of nature spirits and beings of the natural world. So, and my lineage, ancestors, and elders. So I'll channel messages from them based on that month's topic, and then we'll have some group reflections and Q&A. This monthly group call has been going strong since last spring. So we're coming on to, I think, our 7th or 8th month, and you're welcome in anytime. It is, once you join, it is a monthly subscription, just like a membership, but there's no obligation to stay beyond that initial month, and you can leave at any time. And you're also welcome back at any time as well. The next one that's coming up, the topic just was channeled in from my guides yesterday, and we're going to be hearing from the whales, and in particular, the white whale ancestors who come from an angelic realm. And they're going to be speaking to us on the art of birth, death, and dying, and the art of ancestralization. If you've heard me talk about whales before, you know that I've said that they are master tenders of grief. They are the embodiment of a particular kind of grief-tending medicine. And I believe that in this Kontomblé channeling that I'm sharing with you all today, they even come through for just a small portion of the voice divination in their frequencies come through in the voice. So you might want to listen for that, and it will be a very special call that I'm looking forward to in early December with the Fountain. The next offering that will be coming up, my next group course, is Singing with Amanita. I'm so thrilled to be releasing it again for a second year in a row. Last year was the first time doing it. And so I'll be releasing that soon and sharing more about it as well. Singing with Amanita is a journey, just like it sounds, into communion with this ancestral ally and plant medicine teacher, Amanita Mascaria, who I lovingly call Mamanita sometimes. So we'll be communing with her over weekly meetings and calls, and working with her in different forms of working with the medicine. So if you're curious and you want to learn more, you can reach out to me, get on my newsletter. That way you'll be the first to hear about when the enrollment for this space opens. All right, my friends. So that's all for now. Thank you so much for sitting with me and sitting with the Kontomblé. Before you hear from them, you may want to pause the video and prepare some offerings if you haven't already. Set out a little honey, a little wine or spirits for the Kontomblé. They love sesame seeds, they love sweets, and they love offerings. It's one of the ways that you can express your thanks to them and also feed the energy, and through feeding that energy, increase the, I want to say even, you feed the field. You feed the field of reciprocity between you and them, so that what you're able to receive from the recording is even more than what it would have been before. So I highly encourage you to do that, even setting out a little water for them. And with your offerings afterward, you can put them out in nature if that's accessible to you, or compost them, something like this. And I really hope that you enjoy this message from them and that it moves you and can support you on your journey. All right, sending so much love to you all. Thank you.
Oji alamai, yeah. Ha. Biggie da what the war, yeah. Ha. Ha. They say, Adikirawa, we are speaking to the grievers of the world. Oh, we are speaking to the grievers of the world. Did you know? When you let the tears flow, that the grief heals the disbelief that the hardened hearts carry. When they forget that the other world is not only real, it's more than real. It's so real that you can feel it in your bones as we sing to you. And so we say to all the grievers of the world, yes, all the grievers of the world, did you know that when your tears flow, you are weeping concrete out of your being. You are weeping concrete out of your being. And as you weep concrete out of your being, you weep concrete out of this earth. And so that which has become traumatized, often becomes concretized. And then it becomes conquered. They say, do you see what we're telling you? Do you hear what we're saying? That which becomes traumatized, soon after becomes concretized. And then, the road has been paved to you being conquered. They say this is why the grievers are needed. This is why the tears are not only heated, but they are surrendered to with a reverential bow from the other world. That reverential bow is also the bow of the ship that the ancestors make their journey home aboard. They say that ship that travels along the offered up grief is none other than a relationship that fortifies belief. Belief, trust, and ancestral knowing. In the operational systems of this world in relation to the other, and the other in relation to the mother. And so we say to all the grievers, is it true that you're a believer? And what is it that you believe in? Pay attention to if what you believe in believes in you. Do you believe in a brand of shoe? Do you believe in a handbag that's new? Do what you believe in, does it believe in you? And so, on behalf of the many nations of little people that we Kontomblé of this ancestral village are in relation to. We ask you if what you believe in, believes in you. They say, we little people, we believe in you. We little people, we don't want to leave you. They say generations ago, the little people laughed. Beaten down and bereft. After the different generational warfares, pandemics, and plagues that raged across the earth. They say, didn't you know that a fire that burns across the earth is a form of ancestral plague? They say, from the eyes of the other world, when we look at a forest fire, we see a plague of uprooted desire, of forces that need to feed upon the liquids and liquidations of greed. They say the liquids and the liquidations. And so if you find that a piece of your parcel is in liquidation, perhaps you have turned to an incoherent nation, and it's time to reroute into the tunes that the ancestral trees sing. They say the Amazon is burning. And meanwhile, humanity, sects of humanity, are earning. They're earning. Amidst this burning. Humans are concerned with earning. Meanwhile, that which burns the lungs of the earth also burns the lungs of your children. And so they say that the songs of the whales grow ever closer. And the wails of the Kontomblé grandmothers rise from the earth's belly. So that life can remain even in the roots of that which burns. And so if you find that the human part of your human nature is concerned with earning over grieving what's burning, not only in the forests, but also not only in the forests of the world, but also in the forests of your psychology. Then you've got to get in touch with your spiritual ecology and resource the sparks of life that dwell in the roots of your being. This is a message we bring to you, our friends, to hear once again when it appears once again that you are facing the end of a particular road or promise. That on the other side of that ending is always a beginning. But you don't get to that other side unless you can let those tears flow. There's a lot of you out there who still have a ways to go when it comes to they say the execution of your mission. They say the execution of your mission feels quite daunting. In the face of real live execution. Of the soft and gentle souls. Of the gentle, tender hearts. And so the Kontomblé call upon you, their friends, and the grievers of the world, to lighten your load. To be like the toad. Welcome that medicine. And purge that which that has gone vile in your system. For that which has gone vile in your system. It inhibits the rhythm of the ancestral courses you are charting. They say if your mind is constantly trying to chart ahead, then perhaps you've forgotten how to heart ahead. Or regard the heart before the head. And so it's time to lighten your load. And let the tears flow. And release that which has gone vile from your system. Lest they put little vials into drawers. Filled with unfelt feelings. Filled with unhealed healings. Filled with fields that are how do they want to say it? Infectious in nature. They say that which has become infectious in nature, like a fire that is an ancestral plague. It separates the natural world from the reality that the forces that would endeavor to be would endeavor to build. And to do it, how many lives killed? And to do it, how much blood will be spilled? They say the ancestors call for no more, no more, no more. No more. Will we open that door? No more. Will we walk across that false floor? No more, no more, no more. They say the remedy lies in the feeling. The remedy is inherent in the feeling. The grieving. The laughing. That's the pathing. If you're still stuck on the past, you can't see the path that emerges before you. And so you might need to laugh. You might need to laugh your path into being. If you can't cry, and you can't fly, if you can't let those tears flow, if it seems like there's nowhere for those tears to go, then you gotta laugh your path. And laugh at those tasks that a concretized mind or hardened spirit would cast upon you. The Kontomblé, they call for like the healing remedies of the innocent heart of the child. They call for the healing remedies of the innocent heart of the wild. And so to return to the heart of the child is to return your body to the wilds of the world. They say, do not forget that nature is always calling you. Nature, it's not hauling you. It's not hauling all these problems to your doorstep. It's the world of man. The world of the disembodied hand that hauls these so-called problems to your doorstep. And they say, we're not talking about running away from the reality that's been created here, okay? We're talking about reconciling it. And in order to bring through the remedies of reconciliation, the tears need to flow. The voices, they need to grow. And the roots of the people need to wind together so that the voices of the people chant in the echoes of and with the cadence of the voices of the forests. They say, don't allow the intelligence of your heart to be deforested. Don't allow the intelligence of your heart to be harvested. Don't allow the fires of an ancestral plague to burn across the plains of your being. They say we call into being the healing songs. The healing songs. The healing songs of the wise ones who walk with the winds, the waters, the plants, the mountains, and the oceans too. We call on the wise one in you to let those heart songs through. And remember, as your roots wind together, there isn't a single storm that you can't weather. And stay strong. Stand strong. And stay steady. Especially when things start to get heady. So that you may always hear the voices that emerge from the ancestral fire of true inspiration, rather than that uprooted fire of desired and excavation. And so this is our message to the people of the world, to you, our friends, to the grievers too, that know that all ends are a bridge to a beginning. May we bridge our beginning together. May we welcome the wails of these grandmothers through. Many little ancestors circle around you and collect your tears into their breasts, saying it's okay, child, for you to rest before you stand and sing again. And as always, remember, we Kontomblé are only an offering away. Go ahead, make an offering today, tomorrow, and the next day too. Make an offering and see what sparks come to you. You might find star sparks. You might find sea sparks. You might find heart sparks. You might find art sparks. So make those offerings and see. And open your ears to the intonations of the goddess. Thank you, Kontomblé. Thank you, Kontomblé. And then they show the elderflower coming in. The flower of the elder tree coming in and bringing its soothing remedy and medicine to our lungs, to the lungs of the people. Thank you. Thank you. So it is. Thank you, Kontomblé. I acknowledge you for the absolute love you are and have always been with me. I close this space and maintain the sweet connection to you, as always. So it is.